viewers, it's another episode on Economy Today on TV House. I hope you had a lovely weekend. My name is Kolawole Itunolua. Joining me on set is Mr. Akintunde Somi Vincent. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
He's a lead analyst on TV House, an educationist, an author, and also an economist. Before we go into today's topic, I want to use this medium to appreciate or to celebrate our Muslim brothers and sisters on the Eid Maulud celebration for today. I say, may we all, and may you all be celebrated. May you all be celebrated. Now, we are going to, commence the topic for today, which says what we want to hear from politicians and political contenders about Nigerian economy. What we want to hear from politicians and political contenders about Nigerian economy. As we all know that Nigeria has been facing a lot of economic meltdown in terms of aspects which has even made the economy to be stagnant. So what could be the likely solution, and what do we expect the politicians and even the political contenders to say as regards this? So I'm going to be welcoming my guest on set to buttress some points this today. You're welcome, Mr. Akintunde.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Better than yesterday.
Thanks for honoring us once again.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Mr. Akintunde, the topic for this morning says, what we want to hear from politicians and political contenders about Nigerian economy. Now, the first question I want to ask you is the economy of Nigeria really in a bad shape or mess?
It's so nice to be here today.
Right.
Like you said, you have rightly asked, if Nigerian economy is in a bad shape, if Nigerian economy is in a mess,
yes.
Even if you ask a toddler in the primary or in the basic elementary schools, they will definitely tell you that things are not the way they ought to actually be. Because not just Nigeria, it's peculiar to the third world states. Virtually all the third world states are now master borrower. They keep borrowing from, even from China. Some they borrow from the European countries. Some from the leverage on the US. So why not? Who says US cannot borrow from Africa, from Nigeria? Who says China cannot seek help from the third world states? But has that really been the case? The answer is no. So, like I said, another thing is consider the level of recession. That let's face the let's face the reality. The rate at which country really moving down, down the ladder as regards economy development is so alarming. It's an exponential rate. So what else could we say than just to admit to the fact that the economy is in a mess? You could say the high rate of inflation. You could see the unemployment rate. You could see the poverty level. The economy is in a mess.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Akintunde. Now, let's talk about the economic all over the world. It seems it's not only Nigeria that is facing this economic crisis. What's your take on that?
Well, in my opinion, I think I would like to commence by saying that when two elephants, when they are in a battle, the grass suffered. This Russia-Ukraine crisis, it is not actually a Russia-Ukraine crisis, it's Russia versus the West and communicating with America, with US. So don't forget that Russia is also one of the world power, one of the leading power, if not number one. You cannot talk about number 1 to 5 in the world without talking about Russia. They are one of the highest supplier of gas, highest supplier of petroleum products all over the world. And who doesn't use petroleum products?
No.
It's actually a need. A must for every home. And so many Western countries depend on Russia. But because of this crisis of Russia-Ukraine, so many things has actually gone. This actually happened behind the scene, where most of the European countries have to boycott. They boycotted from Russia products, and due to so many sanctions from the European Union. So the Russian versus the Russia versus the Western, the West crisis has actually be a kind of a factor that has to, make a mess of the economy. And again, Russia and Ukraine, they are one of the highest producers of grains, like all those wheat, flours, and who are the consumers? Who are those are the receiving? Who are the recipients of all these products? They are the third world states, and if those products are not forthcoming, then what do you think will happen?
Exactly.
The little ones that are on ground, they will be hoarding, and when there's hoarding, there's going to be a price increase.
Exactly.
So that's been the order of the day. So the Russian-Ukraine crisis, even water crisis also, natural disaster. Recently we saw what happened in Florida, in the US, where they had a very huge, huge flood, and you see countries, states submerging, not just US alone, even in Pakistan. Pakistan is actually at the moment under the water. It's so disturbing and so gory. If you got to check, you got to see it for yourself what is happening in Pakistan at the moment, and also in Sudan. Sudan is not left behind. Even Bangladesh, they are all at the recipients of this natural disaster, and even just the way some people are complaining of flood, some countries also complain of drought, where there is no. For one of the epicenter of that is Somalia. In Somalia, the level of drought in Somalia at the moment is so magnanimous that even animals were dying. And for the past 2 years, or part of Somalia, they've not, experienced just a drop of rain. To the extent that people are, leaving their communities in search for food. So this has been the issue. These have been some parts of the issue. Don't forget, at the point in time, also in the world, where bush burning, it's been the order of the day. Volcanic eruption in part of some areas in Vietnam, in Japan, and what have you. So, all these natural disasters also culminating to some of the economic mess that we are experiencing. Not just in Africa alone, but at the global level.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Vincent. Viewers at home, I believe you're enjoying the program. Now, Mr. Akintunde, let's talk about politics. Now, I have here, what's your take on whosoever will take over Buhari's regime?
Whosoever will take from this current incumbent president regime must, in short, must get himself ready. To, in short, it's not going to be a child's play for him. Now, let me give you the parameters. Now, at the moment, in June 2022, the general total debt rose to 41.6 trillion.
Yeah,
that's the debt
that's true.
that Nigeria is incurring as of June. Now, don't forget, just last year we had about 39 plus trillion. But now, now within the space of how many months, we've added another 2 plus trillion. Oh. Now making it about 41 trillion. 41 trillion. There as at December. That's on the debt level. Now let's also look at the inflation rate. Also, it is 19.64%.
Wow.
Which is unheard of. So look at the excess crude oil, the account at the moment, where the according to the economic what's it called, the NCA. Now they've revealed that over 35%, 35 million, were being, considering the production per day. Now it has been reduced due to oil theft under the same regime. The amount of money that is supposed to be keyed into the coffers of the Federation is being carted away by thieves. Look at the poverty level in this country. According to World Bank says that in a very short while, that over as at now, this as at 2022, that I mean this year, that 95.1 million Nigeria are actually experiencing are in this kind of poverty class, this poverty mess, like you said. What about the unemployment rate? At the end of 2020, we have 33.3%, but experts are saying that in a very short while, it's going to rise to 35%. That's in this same under the same regime. So anybody that is going to sit on that chair must get himself ready. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a kind of. It's not going because this we've been plunged into our.
You must be ready to provide solutions.
So
that's just it. All right. Thank you so much.
Sorry. Quickly, let me have this.
All
the
right.
COVID-19 issue is also a factor because during the COVID-19, so many people were retrenched. So many workers were retrenched. They were totally over 5 million of Nigerians were also at the receiving ends of that COVID-19 mess. So put them all together, you see that it's. And why is it that we're actually clamoring? Some they've been able to do something,
Exactly.
but we're in this part of the world. I mean, Nigeria, for instance, it's always when you are at the receiving end, then you go back to your house, then you start thinking of what to do again, how to pick up again. And you will not force business owners that cannot really thrive. You will not force them to do what they cannot, they won't be able to finish. Some of them have to just stop because of this. The COVID-19 culminating into 2020 cases like that. So.
All right. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Kisude, so what are the red flags of Nigerian economy?
The red flag at the moment that we actually have to look out for is. Recently we heard about let me not even go into all those history. The red flags is we have to look out for the real problems of this country. One of the red flag is these oil thefts. Number two is non-remittance of revenue. I mean revenue collected into the federal government account. For instance, those who are in charge of NMP, this petroleum price products, those who are in charge of that, so many money have been has not been remitted into the coffers of the federation. Not to talk of the Nigerian Port Authority. Not to talk of the recent one. The funny one is the recent that we heard about the Attorney General of the Federation. The amount of money that. Let me put it on that corruption generally. We were told that over 100 million plus, at the point people were saying like 100 million, 100 million plus, 100 billion, not million, billion. 109, 109 billion, over something like that. That was told to have been recorded under the integrity and image of the HGF. So all this money, and the ultimate one is the looted money, like the money Abacha looted that was being recovered. Up to now, it hasn't been given proper account of. All this money, these are red flags. These are red flags to show that some people just deliberately want to, set this country on this, on a knee. No, let me not call it on a knee because it's not really acting in the capacity of the mother. I mean, as it stands now, it's more or less like I use the word hits because of these criminal elements that are parading themselves as leaders.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Akintunde Son Vincent. Now let's talk about the governor's proposal to lay off 50 years and above. Is that the way forward?
In my opinion, if you have to look at it very well, I think it is not the way. It is not the solution. It is not the way out.
Okay.
Instead, you are supposed to look at bureaucratic inefficiency. Because when you take away all those people, who will give the younger ones experience? Experience is needed.
Exactly.
Just the way we need the strength of the younger ones,
exactly.
the experience of the older ones are also needed.
Sure.
So the point is, that's not, in my opinion, that's not the way out. The point, we still have so many duplicated agencies everywhere.
Exactly.
Like some anti-graft agencies. I wouldn't want to go into the nitty-gritty of what they do. But not outside, okay, let me withdraw that statement, anti-graft, because EFCC is doing its own job, ICPC is also doing its own job, but there are some agencies that are duplicated. They are doing more or less like the same function. If you match them together, why not create? I mean, why not why not take away? But mind you, even if those jobs are taken away, people will still be at the receiving end, because where do you want to take them to? So that's why I'm actually being careful about what to say as regards duplicated agencies here and there. But the ultimate one is we have so many ghost workers at virtually every agencies. Why not do a kind of a comb? I mean, why not comb virtually all the agencies and get rid of all these ghost workers? Because it is somebody that is receiving those salaries, ghost workers, and you have like maybe 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 in an agency, and somebody is receiving the salary of 15, 20 people. Man, it's unheard of. So, in my opinion, I think instead of laying off the experienced workers, I think it is pertinent to do a bureaucratic checkup. Those that are inefficient, take them out of the system. And those that you think that they are extremely duplicated, maybe you have a duplicated agencies here and there. Put their attention into something productive. Instead of having the same people doing the same thing, you have this, they are doing the same thing. You also have another agency doing what the first agency what is doing. I mean, why the production level will be very minimal. Why not channel the strength of your citizens into something productive, so that the IGR will jack up and the economy will become will become so huge, and Nigeria become the giant of Africa again.
All right, thank you so much. Now let's talk about the new implementation of 5% excise duty tax on all voice calls and SMS and data service. What's your take on that?
Well, my take on is that it shouldn't be at this. In short, it shouldn't be at this period in time.
Exactly.
Because there's already 7.5% on value-added tax. Okay. I mean, on VAT. So, adding that up again, we only create a mess of the economy. Don't forget that if you go to the shopping mall, after paying for your bills, check it. There's always a VAT that is being removed from your account. It has already been paid from the services and from goods and services. So why do you want to add another one to it again?
Exactly.
And when you have 5%, and funny enough, most of the telecommunication companies they are already crying. They already, because they have huge tax in front of them to pay to accrue to the coffers of the federal government, and then you want to add 5% again.
Exactly.
It's just going to cause more inflation. And when that happens, then the government will be serious, and they will know. I don't even know if they are even there at the receiving end, because most of the time we are the one going to the markets doing other things. Most of all these politicians, when you are given money that you are given money for parading mediocrity, or you are just given the money like that. If people want to die, let them. It cannot be chopped up money. That's what they are receiving.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Akitude. Now, before we draw the curtain for today's program, I'd like to ask you this question. I wrote here that as the election is approaching, how should the citizen do this Madrid of contenders, most importantly, on the economy of this nation?
Well, if we are going to deal with the contenders, we must, like I said for the opening time, we must check their antecedents. We must check their historical background.
Okay.
Not just somebody who has been known for corrupt practices, and you think is going to be the Messiah, who will make a mess of the system.
Right.
But we need somebody who will come into the system and sanitize. And how are we supposed to confront those who can sanitize? Is by engaging them in a dialogue. Enough of these political parties without ideologies. Some of them will just come and they will just do a kind of politics these days has become a commodity. That's to be, you have the buyer, you have the seller. You know, the contenders are the ones selling the vote. I mean, they are the ones buying, and the electorate, they are the ones selling. That's why they will ask you, where's your PVC, and they will collect your PVC from you and they will give you the money. You know, you've just been bought. So my point is, the point is, if we have to confront them, and I'm hoping this work should be given is just this where media comes in. The media, the media agencies, they must put all these contenders together. I mean, in short, media even have a huge role to play. Enough of these envelope media practices where they will just come and you have them. No. Media can even save this country. The national televisions, well-known national television, to put all these people together. We must engage them in a discourse. Let us hear them. And again, let's be careful of people with sweet mouths. No, that's why we need to check the antecedents. We need to check the agility. Not somebody will be going on medical tourism every time. After 150 days in office, is still in London doing medical checkup. We need to check their capacity to think. Because these are people that will sit down among the world leaders. When he talks, the ones that, what kind of wisdom does he really prove like this? That is a man of intellectual capacity, but not just one who just go out there and we just embarrass the whole country and the among the Committee of Nations.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Mr. King, today, finally, in your own opinion, what's the way out? The way out is that
the citizens must wake up. Okay, the country, we must all wake up. Politics is no longer the affair of few. Politics is not the affair of everybody. Because if we have a wrong man at the end of affair, then and he's doing things the way he does, the way he likes, we are all going to be, everybody will suffer for it. So why not? Let's wake up. We confront them. We engage them, and we become so active in politics, in electoral processes. We check. We cast our votes. We exercise our franchise and we stay on that mandate. That is, nobody leaves until the whole thing is done, is properly done. That's the only way we can salvage this country. That's the only way we can bring this, we can take this country out of this economic quagmire and this political and this infrastructure. Electricity political ineptitude that we actually into. So it's our duty. It's a collective responsibility. This is not just one man affair. That's why we all have to wake up.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Akintunde Some Vincent. I appreciate you for honoring our invitation. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we've come to the end of today's program on Economy Today on TV RC. Once again, we celebrate our Muslim brothers and sisters on Eid Maulud celebration. I still remain your presenter, Kolawole Itunuluwa. See you next time. Bye.